Hi, ladies. Hello, all you wild women. I love the name of this group so much. I am just about a minute or so early, so I'm going to give it a second to see if anyone pops on live to join me. Drink some coffee, even though it's 5 p.m. my time. I was dragging, and I just ordered these really good lattes in a can. They're my favorite, and they came at like 4 o'clock, and I was like, I can't not have one. So it's Friday, guys. Party on, right? If you guys pop on, give me a wave. Let me know someone's here. Or a comment. And I'll get started in a minute. Hi, Alyssa. Thanks for the wave. Helps me know that, all the technology things are firing. You never know. I've got a phone going, a computer. My internet's always spotty. All right, well, I've got one person. So Alyssa, I'm just going to be chatting to you. So just to kick us off. So I just want to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Kelly McFadden. I'm a mindset coach, a spiritual mindset coach. And I've known Nicole for a few years now. I think we were in a mastermind together. Well, I know we were in a mastermind together. I think it might have been in 2018, perhaps, when I met Nicole. And we've just really grown beautifully together over time and just stayed connected. I don't think a week goes by where we don't talk, sometimes multiple times a day. And we've just really helped each other grow in our own journeys, not just our journeys as women entrepreneurs. Hi, Maria. But also journeys to like get closer to who we are and like who we want to be. So we've been on this like really cool spiritual, entrepreneurial, finding ourselves journey together, which has just been really beautiful and just a really, really amazing, cool thing to experience with another woman, no matter where they are on the globe from you, right? So just wanted to say a quick thank you to Nicole for pulling all of this together. Really, really pleased and grateful to be here. So today I'm going to be talking about limiting beliefs. This was actually probably what got me into mindset coaching. And just like, it just like exploded my interest in all things mindset. And once I realized that I had a real knack for it and a real passion for it, I just like went for it. I think that was back in 2018 too. And Nicole probably encouraged me to go after my dreams. So another thank you to Nicole. So what I want to talk about this evening, or whatever time it is for you, is what limiting beliefs are, how to identify them, and most importantly, how to start busting through them so we can live without them. Now, you will probably hearing that probably think that third piece is the most important and the hardest, okay? So like it is the most important, right? So how we flip them, and how we start reframing things and how we start living without them. It's not the hardest piece though. The hardest piece is identifying them. We don't know how to do it. It's not something you naturally are just like, hey, I think I'm going to criticize myself today and figure out why. Like it's not a natural thing. So I'm going to teach you today a few different ways to identify your limiting beliefs, because that is the key to all of it. And then you get to move on to the most important part, right, is rewiring them. And that's the fun piece too. Because once you identify it, it's just like, oh, like it's that aha that you need to propel you and give you the momentum you need to start moving forward. And once you see it, it can't be unseen. That is the scary but beautiful part of a limiting belief. Once it is uncovered, it's uncovered. It doesn't get buried again. And every time it pops up, it might take you a little while, but then you're going to be like, thought I got rid of you, but I know you, and now I know how to get rid of you this time, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today, because limiting beliefs, what they do is they can hold you back from your highest potential. They can hold you back from achieving your biggest dreams, manifesting your most most exciting desires, and having that fulfilling life that you're after. We're all women in here who know that we have a beautiful purpose. We want to live these bright, fulfilling lives. And sometimes the only thing between us and achieving it is our own internal belief system. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where your limiting beliefs come from to start off. So essentially, limiting beliefs come from all different things, right? They come from mostly childhood. They're things that were just, you heard something once when you were 4 years old, something happened to you that was traumatic as a 4-year-old, and it stuck with you and created this belief system. It comes from your family's beliefs, okay? What were you raised hearing? What were you raised being told? If you were raised a specific religion or a specific ethnicity, right? Like, so I'm an Irish Catholic. That plays a lot into my limiting beliefs. Society plays a huge role in our limiting beliefs. Those pictures of the woman in the kitchen and the man bringing bringing his little briefcase home. Limiting beliefs can be created there. Societal norms, the media. So there's all these different things that are thrown at you over time that create a belief system that does not serve you and can be very negative. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is none of these limiting beliefs are your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. Every single person on the planet has them. Yes, we were all born with this perfect blank palette, this perfect blank slate, but truly it could have been something that happened to you when you were 6 months old and you can't even remember, that your brain and your subconscious held on to and decided to hold on to until today. Okay, not your fault, nothing wrong with you. Your normal girlfriend. So the way I like to describe what our subconscious does, our subconscious, its main goal is to keep you safe and comfortable and protected. It does not want you to get hurt. Okay. So your subconscious, that's what it's always doing. It's looking out. It's almost like an alarm system. It's like, is that safe? Is that safe? If she does this, what could happen? It's always trying to keep you safe, okay? This isn't a bad thing, but if you don't understand this and you don't know where some of its false emergency situations come in, it can, okay? So the way I like to think of the subconscious is its job, since the moment you were born, it has decided that its job was to protect you, all right? And all of your potential that you have, all of your big dreams, all of your big goals, okay, your subconscious has protected them. It's like it's surrounded. So like think about your potential, your dreams, your goals. Think about them. They're right here, but there's layers and layers and layers of like bubble wrap, that thick ass bubble wrap that comes on things. It's layers. So every time something happened to you in your life that your subconscious decided was unsafe, layer. So your subconscious has built this really thick layer of protection around your potential, your goals, and your dreams. That's your subconscious. That's the way I like to think of it. And every layer of bubble, I have low battery mode. Oh, all right, we're just gonna have to go with this. There's no phone charger around me. 1 second. Hey Keith, can you bring me a phone charger cord? Thank you. Okay, so all of those layers, those bubble wrap layers, they're your limiting beliefs. They are false stories that you're telling yourself to keep you safe. So that's what that is, all right? I don't know if this one works, but I'll give it a shot. Sorry guys, hang on. No, hopefully that worked. Bubble wrap, limiting beliefs, protecting us. Okay, so I think that's pretty much summing up what I wanted to tell you about what your limiting beliefs are set out to do, right? So they want to keep you safe. They want to keep you comfortable. It's your subconscious. So figuring out, like we said, figuring out what all those layers are, that's the tough part. And it usually requires, almost all the time, a lot of self-reflection, being willing to go there with yourself, And also, I've found great success in working with coaches and even therapists to help me through that. Not saying you need to, but it helps if it's something that you're interested in. Find yourself a coach who's specific, who is a mindset coach, who asks them the questions, ask them if they know what limiting beliefs are, ask them if they have a way to help you to work through them. Make sure you're asking those specific questions if you are looking for a coach to help you with that type of thing. Therapists, they've got you, right? So if you have a therapist, you can go ask him or her to help you with some limiting beliefs. They'll be able to help you. But anyway, I'm going to tell you how to do it on your own if you would like. So, all right, we talked about what limiting beliefs are. So like I said a few minutes ago, the most difficult part is identifying them for yourself. All right, because they're just floating around in there. They've been there for years, maybe decades, and you're very used to operating that way. So they're not gonna like scream at you and jump out at you, and you're not gonna just be able to be like, limiting belief, limiting belief. Not that easy. If it was that easy, everybody would get rid of them, right? So I'm gonna give you 2 different ways to go about figuring out what your limiting beliefs are. If you have a pen and paper around you, you might want to write some of this stuff down. If not, I'm going to make sure after this, I'll leave in the comments how you can get a hold of me. You can email me or just message me on Facebook, and I'll give you the notes because there are some like specific journal exercises and questions you want to ask yourself. Okay, so the first way to identify your limiting beliefs is writing down some of your biggest goals and dreams. I'm talking, spend some time, what is scaring you? You know, those like big scary goals, like truly if there was no limits in the entire world, there were no circumstances to hold you back, what is your dream life look like? That is the first step. Write a little list, write a bullet points or however you like to write things down, write down what that is, okay? Then once you're done with that piece, you want to go into, and there's 2 different ways to do this. Free writing, if you want, if you're a big journaler and you can just kind of sit down and free write, go for it. Just free write all the reasons why any of those things might feel hard or scary or challenging, even what makes you excited about them. Just literally write down every single thought that comes into your head. Don't edit it. Don't think too hard. Every single thing that's coming to your head about them. If that's not your style, I have some questions that you can ask yourself, and then you can journal on those, and that will help you to sort of dig in a little bit more. So one of the questions you can ask yourself in relation to those big goals, you know, what that dream life is what will change if I achieve this goal? What will change in my life if blank happens, okay? And yes, you're going to think of all the good things. That's great. Write down the good things, but keep going. Will there be any relationships that change? Will there be any family dynamics that change? Will you be the breadwinner? And then what will happen? So you want to think about what are the things that will change if I succeed, if this happens, and just go there. Go there with everything. And that's how you start uncovering what some of the beliefs are. Another question you can ask yourself is, what will I lose, right? So for me, what I would write down, so I have a 9-to-5 job. My big dream is to go full-time in my business. Scary, man. It's scary, right? So what would I lose? I would lose the security of a paycheck every 2 weeks. So I would lose health benefits. I would lose being able to work with a team, like at work, right? Like I work with many people. I would lose the, you know, people telling me I did a great job, like things like that. So like, what would you lose? I know it sounds like a weird question, but if your big dream came true, what would you lose? What prevents me? What is preventing me can be circumstances, anything that comes to your mind from making this happen. I'm not qualified enough. I don't have enough time. My husband doesn't support me. I have 5 kids. When the heck am I supposed to make this happen? I don't have an office. I don't have an office. This is like a back room that has boxes everywhere. But at one point in in my business, tackling limiting beliefs, it was that I didn't have a good enough space. What's preventing you from making that dream life happen? Okay. What could go wrong? Okay. Go there. What could go wrong? What are potential obstacles that I'll come across? So these are just sort of thought starters to help you. And I know this sounds negative, right? But you've got to go there with the negative stuff first. So once you do that and you have that whole list, you just go through and you look at anything negative and you just grab a highlighter, star, whatever you want to do. I'm a big color coder, so I would have like probably 1,000 colors going, and just highlight any negative words, negative phrases, okay? And then when you look back, I promise you're going to find a theme. You're going to find a few things that repeat themselves. You're going to find some things that are going to pop out at you, and you're going to be like, "Ooh, I need to think about that a little bit more." So that's one way to start to identify limiting beliefs. So for example, if for me, and I went through and read that, and I was like, and I saw this, what am I going to lose? And it was security popped out, right? Money. I don't know like what the word I'm looking for is, but like not having the team environment. So like those things would be things I'd be like, oh, I want to dig into this a little bit more. And then I would look at those things, security. Well, what do I believe? What are my beliefs around being secure? Is that you have to have a full-time or you have to have a corporate job. That's my belief. I was wired that way, right? I'm working on that one. So what are your beliefs around those things? How do you have security? Money. What are my beliefs about money? You have to get a check you need to have a W-2 and a check coming to you. That's what I was taught. What are my beliefs? They're not your fault. They're just things that you believe to be true. So then you can identify what some of those limiting beliefs are, and you can see how those would hold me back, right? You can see how believing that the only way to feel secure and make money is to have a corporate job is not really gonna allow me to excitedly quit it. Okay? So that's one way. So that was like one method. Starting with your goals and your desires and kind of going through that way. Here's the second method, if that one doesn't work for you. Write down areas of life that you consistently struggle with. So take some time, just think about it. Again, grab your journal, grab some paper, think about things that you're like, this just never seems to work out for me. It could be, I have a really hard time getting clients. I don't have consistent months of income with my business. It could even just be, I have really bad luck in relationships. These are not just about business. I have a really hard time holding on to girlfriends, friendships, things like that, right? So write down any areas that you can look back on your life and say, like, that's always been a struggle and a challenge for me. Okay? And then once you do that, you can kind of identify what type of category that would go into. So like the client thing, right? So saying like, I can't get clients. I can't get one-on-one clients. I can't make consistent money I haven't had a consistent few months of making money from my coaching business or my entrepreneurial business. Those have to do with money. So then you would say, okay, that has to do with money and business. What are my beliefs about money? And just write every single thing down that you can think of about money. Every single thing you can think of. Business. Every single thing you can think of about having your own business. Love. If you're like, I suck at relationships, I can't find someone to commit to me. Everything that you think about love and commitment. Okay, so you write all of those down. And then once again, you want to take a look, grab that highlighter and highlight the things that were negative and see if it's calling out and if you can pull out stories, okay? That's how you can sort of start to identify limiting beliefs on your own. I'm going to pause and see if anyone has questions and take a sip of my latte. Okay, I don't think I saw any. I'm not seeing any questions, at least, about identifying limiting beliefs. Because the next piece is how we get to bust through them, the fun part, right? So So now you have these limiting beliefs. You know what they are. You at least have a really good idea. And here's the thing about limiting beliefs. Sometimes you start up here as a high level limiting belief and you're like, I believe that in order to be a successful coach, I have to look a certain way, or I have to da 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 da. And so like that's like your first layer. And then sometimes you keep moving through, and almost all of mine, to be transparent and honest and tell you how things work for me, almost all of mine always end up circling back to being lovable and accepted. So I always dig like deep. I dig and dig and dig. Most of mine have to do with family and being loved and accepted and judged by my family. So always ask yourself questions about important relationships. That really, really helps me. Okay, so for each limiting belief, each bullshit story that you have identified for yourself, or you might not believe that they're bullshit yet, but I'm going to teach you how to call bullshit on yourself. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to, again, I love journaling. You can just really sit and think about this one. I like writing these things down so you can look back at them. For each limiting belief, you want to write down, first of all, you have to ask yourself, is there proof that this is true? And if sometimes it's an easy no, there is no proof. I can't even think of any proof that I am not lovable because I gained 20 pounds. I don't see any proof of that. Like there's literally no physical proof around me, okay? But if there is, which there might be because most limiting beliefs start with some sort of trauma or incident from when you were a kid, you might be like, actually, yeah, when I was in grade school and I got on the scale in front of the whole class, little Joey laughed at me, or the other girls who were, a foot shorter than me, this is a true story, said that I weighed too much. And then they didn't want to hang out with me. So there's proof. Hey, Nicole. So then that to me is proof. It's not true, right? But it's like proof that something has happened in my life that made me believe this story, okay? So your answer is either going to be no, or you're going to have a weird ass story from your past pop up. So if the answer is yes, so if we're going to use my little, I had to get weighed in front of the class and I weighed more, but I didn't understand at the time that it was because I had literally 10 inches on all the girls. Yeah, that's an embarrassing story. You ask yourself, why have I held on to this story? This was something that happened to me in 3rd grade, 4th grade. Why have I held on to this? Because my subconscious said, these girls are now mean to me. I just got laughed at in front of the class. I never want this to happen again, because remember, our subconscious just wants to protect us. We never want to be made fun of. We never want to feel unloved. We want to fit in. Your subconscious wants you to fit in. Wants you to fit in all the time. So kind of just wants you to blend into the crowd, feel happy, and be comfortable. So why have you held on to that? Because your subconscious told you that if you are X amount of pounds heavier than everyone else, which makes no sense, right? That it's just not safe. People are going to be mean to you. Okay, so you can get there. So that's step 1 in busting through them. Is it true? If there is an incident, okay, why do I think I held on to this? How is my subconscious trying to make me stay safe, right? How is it trying to protect me? So now we take that same belief, okay, and write 3 reasons the belief is not true. And this might feel like, well, how am I supposed to do that? So what's a compliment you've received? Okay. What's the reality? So I'm going to use that I'm overweight thing, right? I weighed 20 pounds more, so now I'm not lovable and I can't do anything. Everyone hates me. So what are some compliments I've received? People have told me they've loved me. I'm in a relationship. Actually, someone told me that I looked really good. Like I work out and I'm fit. I went to the doctor and I got a thumbs up. Like what is the evidence? You want to tell yourself some evidence. Thank you, Nicole, is my favorite thing to do. What is some evidence that these things aren't true? So stop yourself and say, what are 3 reasons, at least 3, that this is no longer true? All right. And then I want you to think about, why is this not serving me? And if you're struggling to tell yourself, look for evidence that is not true, you can, I want you to do that. But if you're really struggling, you can go to the question of, why does this belief not serve me? Why does this not serve me? That's an easy one. You're going to be able to pinpoint why that belief does not serve you. Okay. So this is like your first intro, your first step into busting your limiting beliefs. And there's also a little thing that I like to do that makes it feel a little bit more lovey, a little bit more soft, because here's the deal. Your subconscious is really not a jerk. Some people get really like hard lines and like, fuck your subconscious, inner mean girl, and get really like tough about it. That's not my approach. That's not who I am. I'm not that kind of person. What I like to do is thank my subconscious, thank that little, whatever, all those layers of bubble wrap, and say, you know what? Thank you, subconscious. I've named mine. Thank you so much. Thank you for protecting me all those years. I know that you really only meant well and you really just wanted me to be safe, but I want to tell you that I am safe. In fact, I am strong. Okay. This limiting belief has served its purpose. It's run its course. And now I can release it and I'd love to move on, but thank you for keeping me safe. And it feels light, and then you kind of get to release it. And then you're not playing that like being mean to your subconscious. Like, we want to love every single piece of ourselves. We want to love every single piece of our journeys. And to me, that like, fuck the inner mean girl, it's not my jam. I want to hug my inner mean girl and be like, girl, I love you. I don't like, we're good. We're good. You can rest. You can go take a nap, please, because I'm good without you. And it's just kind of a beautiful way to wrap that piece up, because sometimes it can feel a little bit tough doing that digging and doing that inner work. So now we've talked about why we have limiting beliefs, why they're trying to, like what they're trying to do, what our subconscious is trying to do, how to identify them. If you need, again, if you want me to type out some of those questions and those exercises, please email me. I'll make sure you have my email address, or message me on Facebook and I'll get them to you. And we've talked about how to bust through them. Yeah, Nicole, isn't it a different way to think about it? It's just like a more self-love approach to loving yourself and loving every piece of your journey, and just being grateful for whatever little girl in you, or whoever, whatever piece of you decided to protect you, right? Like, it was never meant to hurt you. That's the thing. None of it was ever meant to hurt you. It's always meant to keep you safe. But so we need to like release and forgive and just be like, thank you. I don't need you anymore. So now I thought I just saw my dog. It was my shadow. And we talked about how to bust through them. So now a really cool piece is how to replace it. So we don't want to just bust through limiting beliefs. We don't want to just say like, cool, kicked you to the curb. Yeah, I can work on getting those typed up over the weekend, Nicole, and drop those in here for sure. So now we want to replace the inner beliefs, the limiting beliefs. So for each of the limiting beliefs that we've identified, you've identified them, you've explored them, and you've started to bust through them. You've started to poke holes in them and say, no, this either isn't true, or it's not true and it's not serving me, or at least I know it's not serving me. At the very least, you know that it's not serving you. So for each of those that you have identified, we get to sit down and decide on what's a story, what's a better story, what's a more empowering belief, what do I want to infuse myself with instead, okay? So for that example I was giving you, and I don't know why I'm harping on this 20 pounds, I guess it's something that's really like in my head right now, which I didn't know. I am lovable all the time, right? What is a better story? What's something more empowering? I am confident, my body is strong. Every piece of me is beautiful. And then if it comes to business things, gosh, I could go on for business things. So I'm going to save that for a minute, because I do have some examples of common limiting beliefs that I've worked with women on, for especially when it comes to businesses. So this is called like replacing them. Maria, is someone healthy when we judge and shame ourselves for how we feel, even if it's false? Yeah, I mean, that's just perpetuating the problem, right? Is shaming yourself and judging yourself. I don't believe in it. Yeah, weight gain is in many people's heads right now. It sure is. It sure is. I was really determined to lose some weight, and then I'm like, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming, and I'm drinking lattes out of cans, and it's just like, I just gotta love myself with my little, with my little belly. So what's a better story you can tell yourself? I am still healthy. I am still active. I am lovable no matter what. So choose those stories that speak to you and replace them, okay? And then what you want to do, we don't want to just say like, cool, here's a new story. What are 3 ways, right? So you're identifying 3 ways that this new belief, this new story you want to tell yourself and that you want to infuse in your brain and replace. What are 3 ways that this will bring better things to your life? So if you take some time and you think about, wow, because we talked about why this limiting belief wasn't serving you. So now we're going to replace it. And now I want you to think about a Buddha belly. Mine is definitely a Buddha belly too, Maria. I'm just going to love on it. I want you to think about 3 ways that your new story is going to make your life and your existence better. That's taking things a step further when it comes to rewiring, okay? Why is it going to make it better? You want to attach it to real outcomes. You want to attach it to actual things that are going to help you feel better and for you to start moving forward. And here's the cool thing about limiting beliefs. They are not a one and done thing. Like I think I said it already. I have a limiting belief that I have been aware of for years about leaving my corporate job. I've slowly, it's slowly chipping away. I am aware of it. It doesn't go away overnight. Even though I know how to fix these things, it doesn't go away overnight. Sometimes it takes a long time. But here's the beautiful thing. Once you identify it and you have that momentum and you take one little action that tells it it's wrong, that's good enough. Okay? You don't have to beat yourself up for not being consistent. Yeah, you're going to maybe take 1 step forward against limiting belief, and then you might take 5 steps because that limiting belief has been there and has been patterned into your brain for a very long time. So give yourself grace and give yourself time. Take the actions, the new actions that are aligned to your better belief when you can, and just count them, write them down, okay? Keep track of them, because over time you're going to see the scale shift, okay? You're going to see, so right now here's limiting beliefs. Here's the more empowered belief. You're going to see yourself taking actions from this. And then you're going to recognize limiting belief and it's going to be like this. It takes time. And it's eventually going to go here, but you've got to give yourself grace. Take some time, okay? Nicole knows that I love to use my hands for everything. I just make up hand movements for everything. Yes, it does take a lot of effort to reprogram old coding, and you have to give yourself the time and the grace, and give yourself, every time you celebrate yourself for taking that one little step, you're inviting in more momentum for that to continue. So that's part of replacing the limiting beliefs and really infusing them into your life. Okay, so I wanted to also share some common limiting beliefs. How many did I write down? 1, 2, perfect. I have 5 common limiting beliefs that I'm pretty sure every single woman I have had mindset calls with, my clients, my one-on-one clients, my group clients. These are the 5 most common that I hear, so I want to share them with you because I am sure at least one of these will resonate with you. The first one is going to be is almost like a no-brainer. It's I'm not blank enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not far along enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough. What are you telling yourself that you are not enough of to make your big dream happen? I'm not rich enough. I don't have enough followers. I'm not funny enough. I'm not happy and peppy enough to do lives, right? I'm not dressed up enough. What is it? What are you not enough of? Huge. Everyone has one of these, at least one of them. So this is one, just jot down, keep in the back of your head. So when you hear that reel going in the back, because they run in the background, man. They run in the background. And then one day you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, did I just say that I wasn't pretty enough? Because what the fuck? So when you catch yourself with any I am not blank enough, stop yourself, write it down, and go through all those steps that we just talked about. That's one. These are not in order. These were just the common ones that I jotted down. Fear, this is my biggest one. The fear of not being loved or accepted. Okay, so if I do X, and this one is usually deeper seated and you have to dig it out, you have to like really dig it out. And you can do that by asking yourself some of the questions that we talked about earlier. If I do this, I won't be loved. If I do this, my family won't accept me. That's a huge one. Is anything in your dreams, in your goals, in your dream life, is there somewhere underneath that makes you believe that you will no longer be loved or accepted if you do it? Here's another big one. I am not worthy or deserving. Okay. Why, like, so for me, sometimes this was something that I really had to rewire in myself. A lot of the really successful coaches out there who are sharing their stories on social media have, I guess I would say, a rock bottom story. So many rock bottom stories, right? I lost my job. My husband left me. They foreclosed on my house. I had $5 in the bank account. And then that year I made $200K in my business. How many times have you heard that story? How many times? What does that tell us? Here's again, media. The media influences your belief system. The only way to have a good enough story that people are interested in, and the only way for me to make people trust me as a coach, is to hit rock bottom. That makes me feel why do I deserve to have my own business? I didn't have to go through all of that. That's a big one I see in the coaching industry, thinking that you have to hit a rock bottom or you have to have clawed your way and like all this stuff. So thinking that you're not worthy or deserving because you haven't gone through enough. I know that sounds very strange because we've all gone through a lot and we don't give ourselves credit for everything that we've gone through. But it's the I'm not worthy or I'm not deserving. This fourth one, I'm sure you've heard, money or success is hard and you have to struggle for it. How many people's parents have said to you, what do you think? Money grows on trees out there? What about the starving kids in Africa? You got to eat that. Don't waste anything. I'm not really sure where that accent came from, but it came. My parents don't talk like that, but they definitely said things like that. So I think the majority of us are wired to believe that money and success requires a lot of struggle, and it's got to be really hard, and you've got to, blood, sweat, and tears, right? Like you can, even if you like, I don't know if anyone else does this. So let's see, Nicole, I didn't have it bad enough is messed up, but totally exists. Isn't that crazy? I feel like it's something no one wants to talk about either, but I want to talk about it. So I've got some ideas. So yeah, it's a tough one, right? Alyssa, your husband always says you have to work hard and it doesn't come easy. Yes. I mean, I think that we are truly the first generation, and the generation probably after us are the first generations in a very long time to not have that actually be our truth. Because think about it, Great Depression, when I don't know, like ages of everybody, but like some of your grandparents may have lived through it. Some of your grandparents may be immigrants from countries who were coming over here for a better life. This was true for them. So then they raised our parents and their kids to believe this too. So now our parents didn't know any different, and that's what they tell us, right? And it takes a lot to decide that you want to change that pattern and that story for your family and for yourself. You hear it all the time. Just work hard. It'll be like, you've got to work hard for it. Life isn't fair. All of those things, right? So we've got to think about that. That's a huge one. Huge. That money and success is hard. You've got to struggle for it and you've got to work really hard, and it doesn't come easy. Money's not growing on a tree. What do you think this is? What do you think? We're growing money. Tupperware older than you. Yes, the Tupperware that's older than you. My grandmother literally still saves tea bags. She saves tea bags. She makes a cup of tea and she takes the tea bag out and she puts it on the plate and then she uses it later. I'm like, I'll buy you all the tea bags you want. What's happening? But it's that mentality. And oh man, I'm going to go on tangents. So I'm going to stop. I almost went on a tangent about never mind. never mind. Because I wanted to get to the fifth common limiting belief that most people don't realize that they have, is that if I do better, so if you do better, if we're doing better, so-and-so will feel worse. If I succeed, if I make a whole lot of money, if I get to quit my job and work on my own business, who around you is going to, who do you think is going to feel less than? Who do you believe will feel inferior? Whose feelings do you think you will hurt by making more money than them? Are you going to make your parents feel like they didn't do good enough by you? Are you going to make your siblings feel like they're not doing enough and that you think a certain thing about them? Are you going to make your significant other feel not like a man because you might be the breadwinner? So if I do better, so-and-so will feel worse. As women, that gets really ingrained in us because most of the women I end up working with, and I'm guessing most of the women in here, we have some sort of people-pleasing issue. And that's because we want everyone else to feel really good. And that's a beautiful thing, but there's a shadow side to everything, right? So that we are telling ourselves that there's literally, if you think that by doing better, you're a bad person, you're never going to do better. If you think that by doing better, your mom's going to stop loving you, you're never going to do better. If you think that by succeeding and making this huge paycheck, your dad's going to feel depressed, your subconscious is not going to let you go there. It's just not. So that makes all of your hard work, all this time you're putting in, the effort, fruitless. Because there's literally a limiting belief. We're talking about that bubble wrap that's not letting you get there, okay? So I just wanted to share with you those 5 common limiting beliefs in case they resonated with you and you can dig in and then you can go back and use some of the steps that we talked about earlier. So that is what I have on limiting beliefs today. I'm so pleased for everyone who joined. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, limiting beliefs were how I got into mindset work and mindset coaching in the first place. I realized that I will toot my own horn here. I can talk to someone for about 10 minutes and know what their limiting beliefs are because I've studied them and I'm pretty obsessed with them, which is why I created those processes to overcome them. So it's the first step in a beautiful mindset journey for sure. So now I'm just going to open it up and see if there's any questions or comments, and I'll hang out for a few more minutes. Nicole. Grandma washes out Ziplocs. The weirdest thing is we often project this stuff onto other people versus them really thinking or saying it. Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. I mean, that's another thing. Like once you start to become really aware of your limiting beliefs and you can spot other people's, you recognize when people are projecting onto you. And then once you realize someone's projecting onto you, it like really lessens any annoyance or anger because you're like, they're projecting. This isn't about me. So that's another beautiful thing. Once you get very practiced at identifying your own limiting beliefs and you can start to sense them in other people, you don't take things as personally and they don't upset you because you're just like, it's a you problem. All right, ladies. Well, if anyone watches this replay, certainly give me a hashtag replay so I know. Happy to answer any other questions that come up around this. If you start identifying some limiting beliefs and you want me to help you to sort of ask yourself those questions, give me a shout. This is my jam. I love doing it. In fact, I just worked 2 days ago with one of my clients and we uncovered like a very deeply, like I've been working with her for a long time, and we uncovered a very deeply seated limiting belief, and I can't even tell you the light bulb that has gone off in 24 hours, like a shift she has made. It just makes such a big difference in your entire life. I meant more me having you made up limiting beliefs. And you thought it would, yes. Oh, Nicole, yeah, we should talk about that. It would hurt your husband's feeling if you made more money. Yeah, so sometimes these limiting beliefs, we make them up. Like thinking that like your mom's gonna not love you is ridiculous, which is why part of the process is there any proof of this? No. So that's the funny part about limiting beliefs. Sometimes we make them up, and once we realize them, we're like, where the hell did that come from? Which is always kind of funny. So you've got to have a sense of humor with them, right? You're so welcome, Maria. All right, ladies, have a beautiful weekend. Thank you again to Nicole for putting all of this together. And yeah, I'd love to continue to stay connected with everybody. So definitely reach out, Facebook friend me, and we'll be buddies. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the speakers in the summit. Good night, guys.